Imagine turning 18 and finding out that your mother isn't your mother, but your kidnapper. This was Kamiyah Mobley's reality. Let's get into this story. And follow me for all things true crime. This all starts on the 10th of July, 1998, in Jacksonville, Florida. Shanara Mobley gave birth to Kamiyah, and she was over the moon excited to have the rest of her life with her baby girl. A nurse came in to take Kamiyah to run some tests, make sure she was okay. This woman may have been dressed as a nurse, but she was not. She took 8-hour-old Kamiyah and kidnapped her. The kidnapper's name was Gloria Williams, and she had just suffered the trauma of a miscarriage. She raised Kamiyah as her own, giving her a new name, Alexis. Kamiyah, or Alexis, had a great childhood. She didn't think she was any different to any other kids. She loved her mother and she was happy with her life, but things started getting a bit strange when she turned 18 years old and she realized she didn't have a social security number, which you need to get a driver's license or a job. And this is when Gloria's 18 years of lying started unraveling. Kamiyah's mother never gave up hope of seeing her daughter again. She would light a candle every birthday in hopes that one day they would reunite. Kamiyah found out that Gloria was not her biological mother, but she had no idea what the actual situation was. In 2016, the police received a tip claiming that Alexis was potentially Kamiyah. This tip supposedly came from someone that Kamiyah had confided in. Police tracked down Alexis and they did a DNA test. And she was in fact Kamiyah. She was shocked when she learned that she had actually been kidnapped and had to come to terms with the fact that her entire life was basically a lie. Her biological parents, Craig and Shanara, were so excited when they found out that their daughter had finally been found. But Kamiyah didn't really share the same emotions. Despite everything, she loved her mother. She loved Gloria. Gloria had given her a great childhood and a good life. And now she had to face the fact that the mother she's always known was going to jail. Gloria was arrested and she pleaded guilty. She got 18 years in prison. And Kamiyah's life was just completely flipped upside down. Go to part 2 for the rest of the story. Sorry, I cannot fit it all into 3 minutes. And let me know what case you want me to do next. I'll see you there. Bye! Part 2 of the Kamiyah Mobley kidnapping story. Things went okay when Kamiyah met her biological parents, but a lot of complications followed. She reunited with her biological family, including her siblings, because her parents had had other kids. But the trauma of the situation couldn't just go away. Kamiyah really did not want Gloria to go to jail despite what she had done, but her biological mother, Shanara, didn't want her communicating with Gloria. Her biological mother was quoted saying that she didn't want to feel like she was competing with her daughter's kidnapper. I completely understand both sides. Like, of course, Shanara hates Gloria. Gloria took away 18 years that she was meant to have with her daughter. And her daughter now loves this woman who ripped away that time. But from Kamiyah's point of view, if someone told me now that my parents had kidnapped me, I would still love them. There would probably be a lot of questioning and trust issues, but you would still love them. This whole situation caused a lot of fights, which ended up just splitting them apart again. One of the last things I saw was that Kamiyah and her biological mother were not on speaking terms. But I also saw something that said the opposite, so I'm not really sure. There must have been an immense pressure on Kamiyah, because if you think about it, her biological mother had spent her entire life loving her, even though she wasn't with her. And she's never met this woman, and she's now expected to almost love this woman back, but things like that take time. And she spent 18 years of her life building that same relationship with another woman. I would love to hear what you guys think of this whole situation. So comment down below, let's talk about it. I'm now going to quickly go through some products I use because I keep getting questions about it. They will all be linked down here if I can find them on the TikTok shop. So first, mascara. I absolutely love this mascara. It is the Maybelline Surreal Falsies mascara. Really recommend it. I've only done one coat today and you can already see the difference, like it's insane. So grab it right down here. And in terms of foundation, I get so many questions about my foundation. I use a few different ones, but in most of these videos that you watch, I use the NARS Soft Matte Foundation, which is just right down here. Easy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, let me know what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!
This is the O.J. Simpson case, better known as the most famous trial in the world. So O.J. was an extremely famous football player, and before the night of June 12th, 1994, football is all that O.J. was known for. But on the night of June 12th, something horrible happened at O.J.'s house that changed history. You see, that was the night that O.J.'s wife Nicole and this man named Ronald Goldman allegedly had their lives ended right outside of O.J.'s house. Now, O.J. was notified of their passing while he was on a business trip to Chicago, and when he returned to Los Angeles, he was temporarily handcuffed and taken into questioning. A few days later, O.J. was at Robert Kardashian's house, and knowing that he was about to be formally arrested for the passing of his wife and Ronald Goldman, O.J. decided to take his white Bronco out for a ride and was pursued by police in the most famous police chase in all of history. After the police chase, O.J. was eventually caught and taken into custody, and shortly after, the trial of O.J. Simpson began. O.J. pled 100% not guilty to the charges. And after a long trial with many famous moments, like the moment where O.J. tried on the gloves that were found at the scene of the crime, and they didn't fit, so the famous saying, "If the glove does not fit, you must acquit," was born, O.J. Simpson was eventually found not guilty. Now, even though O.J. was found not guilty in criminal court, he was found guilty in civil court and was ordered to pay $8.5 million to the victim's family. Now, the impact this trial had is still seen today, as it essentially gave the Kardashian family their first taste of fame, and many people still debate to this day whether or not O.J. actually did it. Now, O.J. actually did end up going to prison in 2008, but this was completely unrelated to the passing of Nicole and Ronald. And since October of 2017, O.J. Simpson has not been in prison.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I found this bone, and it looks like a hip bone of a human, and it looks like it's been cut off. You can leave. And that looks like the bit that you put a leg into. And I'm about to have a f***ing heart attack. This is where I am. I'm in the middle of the woods. I'm on this bit that isn't even really a track at all. There's like trees covering it. It could be an animal's, but I don't know. So I'm gonna call the police, I think. I'm literally waiting for the police to arrive, and I have 7% battery, and my car's not working. After an hour, the police arrived, and I then walked him through the woods. It's a 15-minute walk to get to where I was, with the moonlight, and that was it. I did it all a bit quicker earlier, and I think it's because I was scared. It was just slightly to the side. I didn't really move it.
Lovely.
So despite me sending photos, they needed to come and take more with a tape measure to figure out what it was, because they knew it wasn't deer. Oh, you're coming back, no? Or you're sitting here?
I'm here.
You're going to stay here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's all golden. Thank you very much.
Oh, and I'll leave you? Okay. Wow, okay. Is this better than drunk people, or?
It's a little bit sketchy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. The police officer had to wait on the scene and tape it up in case, and I had to make the journey through the woods back to my car all alone, which was kind of scary. So I haven't posted an update till now because I didn't want to post until I knew what it was. I didn't want to post a human remain on TikTok, you know? The police never got back to me, so I don't think it was human. And I posted on Reddit and somebody said pig, which makes sense because like pigs and humans get confused all the time. So let's hope it's that, and let's hope I never go walking in the woods again.
Can't fucking open the damn door. you. Everybody want to know? Yes, I did.
It was March 24th, 2015 in Detroit, Michigan, and Michelle Blair, mother of 4, had been served an eviction notice for failure to pay rent on her apartment in the Martin Luther King apartment complex. The court bailiff arrived around 11 a.m. to the apartment complex where she lived with her 4 kids. Nobody was home at the time they began to carry out the eviction. They removed mattresses, clothes, and other items from the filthy, disheveled apartment. During the eviction, they came across a deep freezer in the living room. What they found inside would shock the nation. One of the crew members opened the freezer and found the body of a young girl wrapped in plastic. And when officers arrived, they found the body of a young boy underneath her in the deep freezer wrapped in a blanket. Blair was located nearby with 2 of her children, unharmed. Blair was then arrested and taken into custody. The 2 bodies were sent to the Wayne County Medical Examiner's office for autopsies.
I don't feel no remorse for the death of them demons.
After thawing the bodies for 3 days, they were both confirmed to be her children, and they were both ruled homicides. 9-year-old Stephen Berry Jr., who died August 30th, 2012 of multiple blunt force trauma and thermal injuries, and 13-year-old Stony Blair, who died May 25th, 2013 of multiple blunt traumas. Blair quickly admitted to killing her 2 children. She said her youngest child said that he was being abused and raped by his 2 older siblings.
What did you do to Stony Blair that makes you guilty of premeditated murder?
She raped my son. I intentionally killed her. And if I had killed Stephen intentionally, I definitely would be proud to say I did.
And she admitted that she killed them as punishment.
You meant to kill her.
I definitely meant to kill her.
Wasn't an accident.
No, not at all. If I had a chance to do it again, I would.
Over several court hearings, she would go into painful detail about how she tortured her children to death.
I repeatedly punched her. I assaulted her every time. I have put a bag over her head till she lost consciousness. I threw hot water on her. I hit her on her head multiple times, over and over. I definitely meant to kill her. If I had a chance to do it again, I would. And I do not feel any remorse for what I did to Stony.
When asked if she witnessed the abuse,
after I found out about Stephen, even before I started hitting him, I did actually call the police on advice, and I told them like a hypothetical situation. Like I called the police and I'm asking them in a case where it's one brother that's been raping the other, what can be done?
Because the alleged assaults were never reported to authorities, there was no official record of the events, nor were investigators able to find any evidence to corroborate Blair's claims. So it remains a mystery if any of the assaults took place against the young child. Blair's 2 surviving children not only confessed to being abused throughout their childhood by their mother, but medical professionals identified 25 scars and injuries, both old and new, on the 8-year-old's back, as well as loop-shaped scars and injuries on his body consistent with being whipped by an extension cord, according to the custody petition. There was a visible cut above the left eye on the 17-year-old girl. She told an interview that she was struck with a 2x4 by her mother, and that she hit her with a curling iron, which resulted in a broken front tooth. It was reported that Blair had pulled her children out of public schooling and was homeschooling them. In the state of Michigan, parents have no obligation to notify the school district if they decide to homeschool their kids. And Blair continued to receive $771 in Medicaid and food assistance for all 4 children. There were 2 claims of child neglect or child abuse with Blair placed with Child Protective Services, in 2002 and one in 2005, after Stony's aunt reported seeing marks on her body while bathing her. Despite the claims, Blair retained custody of her children. As for the kids' fathers, neither knew what was happening to their children, as both were not actively present in the children's lives. Alexander J. Dorsey, father of Stony and Blair's surviving daughter, hadn't seen Stony in the 2 years prior to finding out his youngest daughter was dead, but said she was fine the last time he did. Blair would tell Dorsey that Stony was staying with an aunt whenever he asked about his daughter. Michelle Blair is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. Blair also lost parental rights to her 2 surviving children. Stephen Berry lost parental rights to the 8-year-old son he had with Blair, while a ruling said Alexander Dorsey would maintain rights to his daughter until she turned 18, which allowed his daughter to become a ward of the state and get access to college and access to a treatment program for 2 years. It has been reported that the oldest surviving child is headed to college with the hopes of becoming a veterinarian, and the youngest surviving child has been adopted and is thriving.
Even right now, is standing behind me, telling me to keep going, keep doing this.
Phone or phone case.
Thursday afternoon, News 4 was invited by Webster and his family to take a closer look at where his daughter took her last breath. In one of the bedrooms were restraints bolted into the bed frame. There was also a shelf filled with books about witchcraft. 10 feet away in the kitchen, another restraint with chains and locks still attached. Although there were reportedly 4 bodies found in this home, we didn't see any bloodstains, no blood splatters. In the back room, the most shocking find of it all, crucial items that had not been collected.
That's them. Babe, that's them.
Okay,
That's
is that hers?
Yep. Okay. Hold on.
Call the sheriff.
Yep.
Don't touch them. Don't move them.
Ivy Webster's cell phone was tucked away in a laundry room cabinet, along with 2 other cell phones and 2 laptops. In these items, the family believes was used to torture their daughter before she was murdered. None of it collected by law enforcement until this family called the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office and asked them to come back to the home and retrieve these items.
There you go.
Pictures were snapped and the items finally collected, but not without a brief explanation as to why it hadn't been done before.
I want more done.
The problem is, we don't know what else to do. Like,
there's a story to be told here.
right.
We don't know what happened.
Don't know what else to do. I'm going to say
And
this.
since we don't have the only person that can tell us what happened,
He's dead. But we can try to piece it together.
And I'm going to say this was not done right. No crime scene tape.
we are open to any suggestions you all can
I'm saying
give.
that they didn't do their job, and the whole world's going to know it.
But what would this accomplish?
I'm a grieving parent. That telling me right now that I don't have a right to know what happened? The story's right here. It's right here. And it's still sitting here. Still!
Disgusted with the investigation into his daughter's murder, he only saw more uncollected evidence on his walkout. Another phone in the top drawer of a nightstand, several computer towers, and a check made out to a local storage company still sitting in plain sight.
I'm upset. Healing. Trying to heal. Still confused. Still a lot of answers that need to be given.
I am the youngest murderer in history. My name is Carl, and I grew up in a small town in Kentucky, USA. In 1929, I was 8 years old and I was friends with a little girl named Cecile Van Hoos. We often spent our days looking for scrap metal to sell to earn a little money. One day, while we were arguing over a piece of scrap metal, Cecile chopped it out of my hands and hit me in the face with it. I was angry and in pain. I went home, but I was boiling with rage. I climbed up on a chair, grabbed my dad's shotgun and ran back to Cecile's house with the gun. When I got there, I said, "Now I'm going to kill you," and shot her. All for a piece of scrap metal. Just a piece of scrap metal. In court, I explained why I did it, but I couldn't believe that I really killed my friend. After I testified, I slept through most of the rest of the trial. Eventually, I was sentenced to 15 years in prison. My parents managed to post bail of only $500, so I was able to get out of jail before my sentence was up.
There's another car coming up behind us. What way should I go? Straight or right? That's not right. I guess straight? I don't know either. Just pick one. I'm gonna pick straight. Bike on this road, so there must be civilization somewhere over here. Looks like there's a town up here, or a little village. The car behind us is kind of scaring me how fast they're going. I know, they're going quick. It's not scaring me. It's scaring me because what if they're speeding up on us to rob us or something? Probably just drove this road lots of times. Oh my god, they have guns. Jesus, Jesus. Go, 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 no, 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 please, 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 what? Please, please, please. Please, what? Please, what? No, Espanol, please. We just want, we're just... No para, no para, no para.
No problem, no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem, okay, no problem. You will.
Por favor.
¿Dónde vas?
Sí, han perdido los chavos.
Hey, come on, aguanta.
Please.
No problem, okay?
I'm about to pass
No
out.
problem, okay, no problem.
Logan, don't. It's okay,
Oh,
it's okay,
hey,
it's okay.
No problem, okay? What? You will.
Can we go?
Well done.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Please, please,
Yeah,
please.
no, okay. Hey, no. Easy.
No para nada.
No problem. Hey,
Okay.
easy, okay? Hey, ¿dónde? Cancún. ¿Dónde?
Okay.
We're gonna see mi madre.
You where?
Cancun.
You?
No problem.
No para nada. Tranquilo, pero...
No para nada.
What's your name?
Aaron.
¿Eh? What's your name?
Aaron.
See
You?
Logan.
Edwin.
What's your name?
Philip.
Philip.
No
Can
problem.
you speak English a little?
A little.
Please don't kill us.
No problem. Me, you. Let's